Hello, lovelies. This is 5 Minute Manifesting. I'm your host, Lovey Brown. Thank you so much for listening. I'm thrilled that you're here. And today I want to talk to you about memories. So, our memories are often what we're visualizing or thinking about, or our dominant thoughts. And, there's a lot of research out there that indicates that we have, anywhere between 60,000. I've even heard really higher numbers than that, thoughts a day. And most of those thoughts are similar to the thoughts that we had yesterday. And so they're really based in our memory or in something that we've told ourselves over and over again. So the story that we're telling ourselves, the narrative. And because of that, that's where a lot of our reflection in the 3D reality, that's where a lot of what's getting pushed out is coming from. Now, you can use this knowledge to your advantage, right? And so what you can do is you purposefully, deliberately choose memories that you want to have. Even if they didn't happen. And then you choose a memory, you make something a memory, and then in the future of your living your 3D reality, living your life, going about your business, that will happen. So you want to make sure that you're choosing things that are things that you want to happen. And when you make something a memory and you choose to dwell on it, this is a device that you're using to frame your thoughts so that you can focus on it. It's a focusing technique. And it's all that it is. And it's very similar, if not maybe exactly the same, just using different words, of I remember when. Now, often when we talk about Neville's example of I remember when, because that's a technique that originated with Neville Goddard. I'm sorry, I don't recall which book it was at this point, but he talked about how he would suggest that you say, I remember when, and then you put in something of the past circumstance that would be the circumstance you're living now. Like, say you wanted to build a house and you only had an empty field, like you somehow owned a field, or maybe you didn't even own it yet, but you say, I remember when this was just an empty field. And the idea is that you're thinking from being in the house, even though the house isn't built yet. So you're thinking back in your imagination. This is a focusing technique. You're using your imagination. You're thinking back to when the house wasn't there. And you're in your imagination in the house, living in the house, experiencing the house, and thinking back before the house was there. Now, I'm suggesting something a little bit different than that, and which is just you're already in the house. You're remembering being in the house. You're remembering a past time you were in the house. So that's kind of what I'm suggesting you do. Although either way works, right? The key is that you're using your memory as a focusing technique. And when you do that, it's powerful, right? It's just something that we do. Now, some people may be really hesitant because that's, a lot of people, are really hung up on like, well, I know what happened in the past. I have these memories already of, everything that's happened. And that's what I remember. I understand. I hear where you're coming from. That's a very logical way to live in the world. However, there's a lot of research on memories to show that you don't really remember how things actually happened. That your memory, that you're already kind of, unbeknownst to you, not on purpose, not deliberately manipulating your memories and remembering something that didn't happen anyway. That's already happening in your memories. And so what we're doing is we're just going a step further, and we're choosing to do it on purpose with the things that we want, with what we want to manifest, so that we can focus on what we want to manifest. And that becomes your dominant thought. That becomes your dominant idea. That becomes one of the 60,000 thoughts that you have that you return to day after day after day after day. And so that's what I wanted to share with you today about manifesting. Thank you so much for listening. May you manifest exactly what you want.